What is going on, Pats Nation? It's Patriots Global back here with another video, and in this one, we're going to be doing our yearly New England Patriots roster cutdowns. In this video, I'm going to go in depth at each and every single player that the New England Patriots had to cut in order to get down to 53 players. As we all know, today was the day that every single NFL team had to get down to the roster cutdowns to 53 total players, going from 80. That is 10 less than the usual 90 that we usually get due to the whole pandemic. And I believe in total, the New England Patriots got rid of about 25 players. Now, just a quick disclaimer, like I do every single year, I'm doing one video where I talk about all of the roster cutdowns. I talk about some of the surprises, some of the surprise cuts that the Patriots had, and then a separate video will be the New England Patriots complete 53-man roster, my surprises on who actually made the roster and whatnot, so make sure to check out both of these videos. But New England started out actually a little bit early than other teams. They started, I believe, 2 days prior to the final day because it was Saturday by 4 p.m. that all teams had to get down to 53 players. And on Thursday, September 3rd, the New England Patriots already started by releasing wide receiver Mohamed Sanu, defensive lineman Michael Barnett, and cornerback Michael Jackson. One of the big things before I talk about the rest of these guys is just the fact that this is the first time in many years, I don't even know how many it was off the top of my head. I feel like it was like since 2004, I believe, that a UDFA has not made this Patriots final roster, which is really, really surprising. I really like this UDFA class, and, you know, I believe that the whole pandemic really plagued everybody on this team, not getting a full offseason, not getting a preseason, and ultimately, I think that's why that no UDFAs made this final roster. So the New England Patriots got rid of offensive lineman Ben Braden. They got rid of defensive tackle UDFA, defensive tackle Bill Murray. They got rid of defensive end Tashawn Bower. They got rid of defensive lineman Nick Thurman. They got rid of defensive lineman Xavier Williams, which is a guy I really liked personally. I thought that, you know, it could be a situation between him and Bo Allen, and oddly enough, Xavier Williams is a guy that's put up better statistics over the years than Bo Allen. Linebacker Terez Hall, I think that was a bit of a hard one for the New England Patriots. He was looking pretty good, and I know they liked him over the past couple years. Really could be a practice squad candidate for sure. Linebacker Scoota Harris. Linebacker Cash Maluia. Guys, I feel like this might have been my biggest one. If not, it was my second, because Cash was performing extremely well with the New England Patriots. Now, I'm not going to say he was performing like a Kyle Van Noy or Jamie Collins, but he was one of the top guys at the linebacker position actually going out and making plays, and he was someone who isn't just an off-the-ball linebacker, not someone who just stops the run. He's someone who is actually able to play in coverage, which we don't really have at the linebacker position. And I mean, in general, the Patriots don't really have any linebackers that made the actual 53-man roster. And he was selected by the Patriots in the 6th round of this past draft. So he was someone that I did expect to make this final roster, especially when you put on that special teams ability. So definitely a shocking one there. The New England Patriots also got rid of undrafted rookie tight end slash linebacker Rashad Berry. They got rid of tight end Jake Burt, center Tyler Gauthier, cornerback D'Angelo Ross, who, you know, performed really great last offseason, just wasn't able to do anything this time. Defensive back Miles Bryant, the guy who was really able to stand out, UDFA, who was standing out really, really well. He was the it factor for the Patriot training camp. I know they're really hoping to get him back on the practice squad. Running back J.J. Taylor, fullback Paul Quinsonberry, wide receiver Isaiah Zuber, wide receiver Andre, I'm going to try to say this, Baselia, wide receiver Devin Ross. I think that was another surprise by most people. Wide receiver Jeff Thomas. I feel like this is a big one that I must talk about. A lot of people thought that Jeff Thomas was going to make this final roster. I don't really know what that was about. I feel like after Mohamed Sanu was released, everybody was like, yo, all right, Jeff Thomas, he's the guy. It's going to happen. You know, despite not hearing anything about Jeff Thomas having a chemistry with guys, not anything about him getting special teams looks, not anything about him looking good on the field. and the fact that he missed more than half of the training camp, but for some reason people still thought that he was some type of lock to make this roster. I don't understand it. I expected him to get released, but I know for a fact that he is a guy they want to get back on the practice squad. We'll just have to see. But real quick, before we keep going, guys, sports are finally making their way back. And luckily enough for us, next week, football is back. And you might not be at a game this year, but you can still get in with all of the action at BetOnline. Now, BetOnline is going the extra mile to make sure that you can get in on everything imaginable for this upcoming NFL season, all the way from game spreads to totals to team players and coaching props. BetOnline gives you more options to wager than any place online. You can get it on their season opening bonus today and start off wagering to win division and championship plus futures today. Guys, go ahead and head to BetOnline today and take advantage of all of their great sign-up bonuses. We're talking about betonline.ag, your online sportsbook experts. But next up on this list, we have two kickers, and I think that this is the one that really got everybody. They released Nick Folk and they released Justin Rohrwasser. Justin Rohrwasser, not a shock at all. He was not performing well. Some speculated an injury. No matter what, either way, it was a complete bust of a 5th-round pick by Bill Belichick, and I think he proved that. I think they want to get him back on the practice squad. If they want to get him back on the practice squad, 100% they will. I don't see anybody taking him after the camp that he had. Just a complete disappointment. A lot of people are asking their questions about Nick Folk. The Patriots currently don't have a kicker on their active roster. What does New England do from here? They can do many different things, okay? New England could either do the situation where I think they're going to do in some type of way, and that is they're going to look to put at least one player on the injured reserve. I'm hearing possibly Bo Allen, and then bring him back later in the season. Let's remember that if you place a player on the injured reserve before they make the intentional 53-man roster, they're out for the whole season. But if they make the 53-man roster first, then you can bring them back in the middle of the season without, them having to be out for the entire season. And obviously, if they want to bring back Nick Folk, he's a guy that they could easily bring back. They don't have to worry about somebody taking him, as there are other players that if they got released could potentially be picked up by other teams. New England could also do something else where they just look in other directions for kickers. And then lastly here, the New England Patriots got rid of running back Lamar Miller. This one was definitely disappointing to me. I personally understood why Bill Belichick was going around with that 5 running back group for this upcoming season, just because when you look at this wide receiver roster, it's not great, guys. There's nothing to really say much about it. This isn't a passing offense. This is going to be a run-the-ball type of offense for 2020. So I understand having different running back dynamics, having running backs in case others get hurt, and just being able to switch up the tempo. You don't want to roll with one running back and have him get tired out throughout the game and let the defense be able to stop him. Especially after the Patriots were not able to land Leonard Fournette, I think we all were like, okay, this looks like a good sign for Lamar Miller, especially because Lamar Miller brings an aspect to the Patriots that I don't think they have. Versatile guy with probably the best speed out of any running back that the Patriots would currently have on their roster. And again, that versatility is going to be extremely useful, whether he's a pass catcher, whether he's a running back, whether he's a blocker for pass protection. I think that he would have been a really nice addition. What I'm hearing is that the door is not completely closed for Lamar Miller. From what I'm understanding, this more so comes down to where he is physically. It doesn't sound like he's healthy, which stinks because although he had a big end of his season about a year ago that kept him out of the 2019 season, he dealt with that injury over a year ago. You would kind of hope that by now he would be a little bit more, ready for the upcoming season, but it just looks like he is taking a lot longer to recuperate than the average person would. But again, the door is not shut on Lamar Miller, so he could be a guy that potentially down the road we see coming back. And as for Brian Leworky being cut, we all saw that happening. Okay, there's no shock there. But that is going to be it for today's video. That was the complete list of all of the players that the New England Patriots had to cut to get down to the final 53-man players. If you guys would like to see the final 53-man roster, remember to check out my new video that will be uploading after this, where I talk about the final 53-man roster. I talk about some of the surprise guys that made it and a couple of my other thoughts on that, so make sure to check that out. Other than that, though, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Remember to give this video a big thumbs up if you haven't already. Remember to subscribe to the channel also if you haven't. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in my next video.